My deafness, I'm severely deaf. I wear 2 hearing aids. If you see me for the first time, I've got, I'll turn around. I look like a robot. I've got 2 hearing aids attached to my skull. And yes, I'm 98% human, 2% cyborg. I've got to take over the world. All 2% of me. Anyway, so hearing and being deaf is quite interesting. Sometimes it gets me in awkward positions. For example, I had to take my son's lunchbox to him because he forgot it. So I go up to the school. Now bear in mind, these schools have policies about equality and making sure that they're inclusive, which is great. But the school has an intercom with no text on it, no one on the camera. So I'm buzzing and I'm deaf. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going hello, and I can't hear anyone saying back. And passers-by are going, what's going on here? He's just standing there, he's just saying hello. And the person on the other end of the intercom apparently is saying hello. And it is like Adele and Lionel Richie having a conversation. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, I did that as well. No. And yes, and then I hear the word help. So now we've got a collaboration of Adele, we've got a collaboration of Lionel Richie, and we've got a collaboration of the Beatles, help as well. So we've got hello, hello, help, hello, hello, I need somebody. And, I need somebody to tell me what's going on. And people walking past and look at me going, what on earth is he doing? Hello? So, and also it can be awkward in supermarkets. I'm going to talk about a supermarket that I do shop at, and they are, generally speaking, pretty good. But it can be a little bit awkward sometimes, and I shall explain why in this poem. This poem is called Aldi. Apologies to anyone who works in Aldi. I do shop there. I do make contributions. And I love the mystery aisle. The first time it happened confused me. I mean, I'm waiting in this supermarket, holding onto my trolley, searching for a lane to join and pay, when suddenly other customers start abandoning the queue, hurriedly pushing their trolleys elsewhere. I'm deaf, so the possibilities of what is happening here are endless. Is this a fire drill? Or is there an actual fire? Has someone been taken ill? Have a flock of geese entered the store? Oh, that's a very funny image. Or do people just don't like Aldi anymore? Before I can contemplate more of my theories, I realise that new lanes to pay have opened. Till numbers have changed from red to green, suggesting that in a muted, muffled world, I'm going to have to wait for the colour to change in order to find a new open lane. My shopping experience has now become a version of Squid Game. Which means that in this particular supermarket, going through the till feels like a computer game boss level. Attempting to grab my shopping whilst it hurtles at you at the speed of light is quite a fright, especially when attempting to make sure that coleslaw doesn't fall to the floor. It's pretty much game over when the tip assistant starts talking to me. I can't hear them. And my attempts to be polite result in lapses of concentration as I attempt to lip read whilst trying desperately to pack my shopping into the trolley. But now My shopping is in full flight, hanging in the air briefly like a kite, before plummeting to the floor, directly above but out of sight of an unsuspecting passerby, to which point I close my eyes, too scared to watch their inevitable plight. Thank you.
Yay!
Trending, hashtag, man. Thank you. In all seriousness, thank you for doing that. So, I've had a lot of counselling, I've had a lot of bereavements over the past few years, and one of the techniques that I've learned, something you've probably heard of it, is something called grounding, where you look for something you can hear, see, smell, taste, feel, etc. If you're in a moment of real worry and upset and anxiety. The only thing with grounding I found is that, obviously being deaf, the sound aspect of grounding is quite tricky. And I was talking to my son about this, and he and I came up with a new type of grounding, quite a creative type of grounding. So this poem is called Grounding, and it's all about imaginative grounding. Maybe there's no sound. Maybe my eyes are too teary. Maybe my sense of smell has evaded me. Maybe everything just tastes bitter. Maybe my senses are just numb. In the absence of my senses, I'll fetch my imagination, because sometimes we need to delve deep into our minds, far beyond the pain residing at the forefront, in order to rescue our mental health. We're often searching for the gates of confidence, but they are often bolted shut. As I glimpse through the gaps between the bars, I can see my creativity, a ball of pure, fun-loving energy housed in a prison of anxiety. Sometimes inviting it in works by thinking outside of the box, and that can occasionally weaken those bolted locks. Now I can witness it piercing through like rays of light punching through the stormiest of clouds. Anxiety is dropping its guard, thrown by my resilience, my new creative thinking. It's on the back foot as my new approach to grounding begins to manifest. New ideas might seem crazy, but they'll make my worries fade and become hazy. Even if it's just for a moment where I can reclaim me. As I reside in my creative mind, I can feel it manifesting the warmth of an emerging sun. I can hear the sound of propellers dispersing the storm clouds above. I can smell fish and chips. I can see a flying fish and chips shop with a large open window, staff behind fryers, ready to take my order. Whilst calmly hovering in the orange sky, I can taste fish and chips that have been parachuted down. Eventually the chip shop will fly away. Maybe it'll come back someday, but it leaves a gift. The sun is still shining here in my mind. The storm clouds are still on the horizon. But this is a shared space in the sky now. They'll work together, no longer bound by bolts. An acceptance of our frailties and beauty, an acknowledgement of the roller coaster of humanity, imaginative grounding, offering self-compassion in our thoughts. Thank you. So algae and flying fish and chip shops. I bet you didn't know you were going to hear that tonight. I love poetry that makes you really think in a creative sense. I'm quite I like using imagination and vibrant images and so on. So, and I like sort of thinking beyond limitations as well. So this next poem is called Space Water. On a clear night, the surface of the ocean will collect the stars. Comets will become rock pools. The rings of Saturn will become rings of coral. Space rockets will become boats. Astronauts will become divers. Space stations will become submarines. Planets will become floats. The moon will become an underwater cabin. And the sun will become sunken treasure. Let your mind cast aside your limitations. See the world with your imagination. Thank you. I'm a big I like to make sure that the messages I do through my poetry, I'm trying to encourage people to be themselves, be true to themselves as well. For a very, very, very long time, I found it very difficult to be true to who I was. Bullied because I had Crohn's, my hearing, etc. And it kind of makes you shy away from life. But gradually, through having a wonderful family, a wonderful wife, amazing children, a great support network. If, for example, all of you are brilliant. So gradually I've become true to myself, and that's quite empowering. And so I wanted to do a poem to just sort of say, you know, if you find it difficult to be true to yourself, then just keep going. It is hard, I'm not going to lie, it is really, really hard. You know, there's so much going on in the world and it's difficult. But when you embrace your true self, it is amazing. So this is called The Message is Clear. The message is clear. Towards understanding you must steer. You matter amongst all the crowded chatter and streams of conversations, expectations. Above all else, you matter. It's important to be our true selves, not manufactured clones you'd find on toy shelves. We're all unique, and that doesn't make us any less important when we speak. We all have our own perspectives to share. We deserve to offer our own viewpoints as long as we care, as long as our voices for change are rooted in kindness. So move forward with your compassion. Be selfless in your actions. Reach out your hand. Try to understand, because there's so much information being hurled towards us in this world. It can seem scary and make us wary. But by being kind, you'll find solace, shared hopes and fears. But at least together, we can unitedly face new frontiers. Thank you. Right, my final poem is just a sort of a epilogue, I suppose, to that previous poem, and yeah, just carry on being brilliant. It's called Fly high, soar to the sky. Remember what's learned, carry what's forgiven. Nothing ends, it just carries on differently. We are the architects of our behaviour. Remember what we have. Work hard to keep it if you want it. Cherish moments of joy. stand in the present, and above all else, be proud. Thank you.